When we last left off, I was reviewing a terrible not safe for work Loud House comic. And before we continue, I want to bring up an important thing that I didn't bring up in part 4, being that the comic was never finished. I'll explain why when we get there. So with that out of the way, let me continue. Anyways, Lucy and Lincoln get in bed, and as it turns out, Luann had a secret camera that was filming the whole thing. Downstairs, Luann and Lynn are fighting because Lynn somehow found her baseball bat, and Luann wants to know how. Laurie comes in and ends the fight. It's revealed that Luann has to go to an appointment. Luann tries to say goodbye to Lincoln, but Laurie says she can't. Meanwhile, Lucy and Lincoln are, well, just look at it. Laurie comes to check on Lincoln, which scares him and Lucy. Luann gets dressed and sees a small peek inside Lincoln's room. She sees Lucy and gets angry. Unfortunately, Luann can't do anything because she'll be late for her appointment. Once everything settles down, Lincoln explains that the Loud House is a lot less loud because there are fewer sisters. You see, Luna managed to win a contest. They told her that she could bring up to 6 friends. The parents didn't like that idea, until Laurie said that Luna can take Lola, Lana, Lisa, Lily, and the parents, while Laurie stays with Lincoln, Lenny, Luann, Lynn, and Lucy. Lincoln says that weird things have been happening around the house ever since then, including the fiasco with Lucy in the morning. Lucy then pops up and scares Lincoln. It turns out that Lucy made a drink for Lincoln. They both sit on Lincoln's bed to talk. Lucy jokingly says that she wanted to talk about what their kids would look like. They have a talk about their recent relationship. Lincoln acknowledges that it's fucked up, but Lucy claims that it could work. Lucy then says that she and Lincoln could have, no joke, sex. Then they start making out. At this point, I should remind you all that Lincoln is 11 years old, while Lucy is 8 years old. Luckily, the comic moves on to Luann and her appointment. Laurie tells Luann that after the appointment, they could have a karaoke night at the house. Luann goes inside of the office. The doctor is concerned about the last time she visited, because Luann refused to explain something. Luann makes up a lie that she watched a horror movie that traumatized her. The truth is, she was watching Lincoln through her camera. She sees Lynn go inside his room, and asks if she could sleep there because Lucy was reading her poems. Lincoln says yes. Lynn takes off her clothes and gets in bed. Luann gets really pissed off. Lynn and Lincoln start doing some, well, naughty stuff. The less said the better. Moving on from that, Luann talks about how Lynn stole something from her, which just turned out to be her coffee from the morning. Back at the house, Lucy is trying to apologize for the events that happened earlier. Lincoln tells her that she doesn't need to be sorry, but Lucy just wants to be alone. Lincoln tells Lucy that they should get dressed and go downstairs to watch cartoons. Lucy quickly kisses Lincoln and says yes. They go downstairs, where they get caught by Lenny. Lucy then shouts out something about jelly, and Lenny freaks out about spooky jelly. I have no clue what the joke is here. I don't know if this is a reference to something or if this is something that happened in one of the episodes. I just don't know. Lincoln is then alone and is talking about how odd Lucy has been acting lately. Lincoln brings up the night he and Lynn had sex, and he even admits that losing his virginity to one of his sisters is not something he's proud of. Lincoln hears knocking on the door, and he walks towards it. He explains that he can sort this out so that everything is back to normal. Lincoln opens the door and sees 2 police officers, and this is, to my knowledge, where the story ends. From what I've heard, the original creator of this comic was actually arrested for creating what is essentially child porn. I don't know if the creator is still in prison or not. However, I will say that this comic is terrible and really fucked up. The sad thing is that the creator has talent. The artwork for this comic is surprisingly very good, and if it wasn't wasted on this piece of shit, then there could be some pretty good fan art of the Loud House to come out of this person. I have wonderful news though. I am officially done with the Loud House fanbase. So let's move on to my final thoughts. Holy fucking shit. I have never seen a fanbase as flawed as the Loud House. It honestly boggles my mind that the Loud House fanbase doesn't have the same awful reputation that the Sonic fanbase, the Fortnite fanbase, the K-pop fanbase, or you know what, stans in general have. Even if you compare this fanbase to other bad cartoon fanbases, like Rick and Morty, Steven Universe, or My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, the Loud House fanbase is still somehow worse than all three of those combined. To be fair though, of these three cartoons, Rick and Morty is the only one I like, as I don't care about Steven Universe or My Little Pony all that much. But if you were to compare the Loud House fanbase to the Rick and Morty fanbase, you will see that the Loud House fanbase is worse, and it makes me wonder why the Rick and Morty fanbase is more infamous, as contrary to popular belief, the Rick and Morty fanbase is only infamous for three things: the Zechuan Source freakouts, the musicals, and the claims that the show is for intellectuals, which, by the way, I'm surprised is such a big circle jerk, as every time I've seen someone claim Rick and Morty is for smart people, it's always ironic. I have yet to find someone on the internet that unironically thinks Rick and Morty is a smart show that only intellectuals can watch. I'd like to see anyone attempt to defend any of the shit I mentioned regarding the fanbase. Seriously, defend the lazy and low-effort sad Loud House videos that are not the least bit sad. Defend the things and their 9 million shitty Loud House videos, including regurgitated video ideas and videos that are borderline fetish fuel. Defend Kalobi Productions and his poorly made Loud House videos, including a top 5 video that doesn't even feature the Loud House in it, despite Lincoln being on the thumbnail. Defend Sheamus MLP and his fucked up thumbnails that contain a whole lot of gross Loud House artwork. Defend Animation Club and their shitty Elsa Gate Loud House videos with some of the most disturbing animation, if you can even call it that, I have ever seen. Defend this fucking terrible comic, which is straight up child porn, and is one of the weirdest fucking fan comics I have ever read in my whole entire life. But most of all, defend the bullshit treatment of Welcome to the Wayne and every other modern Nicktoon that's not the Loud House. And give me a good reason as to why the Loud House deserves all the attention it gets more than Harvey Beaks or Welcome to the Wayne. You'll also get extra credit if you can tell me what Welcome to the Wayne has that makes it a Gravity Falls ripoff that Hilda doesn't have. Do all of that. I fucking dare you. The Loud House has the worst cartoon fanbase ever, and there's nothing you can do to change my mind and convince me that the Bronies or the Steven Universe fans are worse than the Loud House fanbase. Enough said. Moving on from that, let's focus on something else. And I know what you all want me to talk about. The recent news that the Loud House movie has gotten cancelled. In part 2, I criticized the movie because of the fact that the Loud House has a plot that doesn't work for a movie adaptation. I also said that I wouldn't be surprised if the movie got cancelled because of that. Well, what do you fucking know? It got cancelled. I remember going on Twitter and seeing various cartoon YouTubers being sad that it got cancelled, and all I could think of was how these people thought this would work. It can't. Literally every Nicktoon that has gotten a movie or is getting a movie works better than the Loud House getting a movie. It's not just SpongeBob. Rugrats worked with a movie, because you could have the Rugrats go on various adventures. Rugrats wasn't just a cartoon about boring babies doing nothing. They went on various imaginary adventures in the show, and they managed to make a movie adaptation work. Not just once, but 3 times. Hey Arnold worked as a movie, because you could have Arnold go on various adventures, and it worked for both movies. I haven't watched the Wild Thornberrys movie, because I found the cartoon it's based on to be boring as hell, so we're skipping it, and even though its movie adaptation was fucking abysmal, Avatar: The Last Airbender could work as a movie. I don't know how anyone can think that this could have worked, especially since it was going to be a theatrical movie. Yes, you heard me right. The Loud House movie was going to be theatrical. Friendly reminder that Invader Zim, a Nicktoon that has a fuck ton of potential for a theatrical movie, is only getting a made-for-TV movie, while The Loud House, which wouldn't even work as a direct-to-DVD movie, was going to get a theatrical movie. What the fuck? I heard that there was going to be a movie adaptation of The Fairly Odd Parents, and no, I'm not talking about the crappy live-action movies with Drake Bell. I mean an animated movie in the same style as the SpongeBob and Rugrats movies. But it was cancelled. I don't know why it was, but if it were to be made, it would be better than the Loud House movie. In conclusion, the movie deserves to be cancelled, because there's no way it'll work. Besides, even if it wasn't cancelled, it would be rightfully overshadowed by the third SpongeBob movie. Anyways, thank you all for watching this video. I'm sorry that it's much shorter than the previous 4 parts, but I didn't really have much to talk about for this part, so I had to make the most out of it. In part 6, I will finally talk about the long-awaited personal incident that made me hate the loud house, and as I promised all the way back in part 1, it will use my real voice. Every part after part 6 will also use my real voice, meaning that this will be the final video I'll ever make that uses text-to-speech. However, I will be taking a small break from this series, because I want to focus on other projects, including a part 2 of In Defense of Johnny Test, and an original series that I won't reveal any details about, except that a trailer is coming out for it soon. Make sure you check out the previous 4 parts. Links will be in the description below. Also, be sure to watch my other non-Loud House videos. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.